All right. In the Stands podcast coming back to you. Andy Roberts, Jason Loggins, Tony Cash.
What else up?
Along with two great guests today. I know the community, I'm going to know both of you well. Appreciate both of you being on. I'll start with these introductions. First, we'll go with, we'll call it experience.
That's kind of
That's
you.
right.
Very kind of you.
This will be his 34th year coaching at high school baseball.
Dang.
Coached at, Gainesville, 1993 to 99, Lakeview Academy since 99 to now. 4-time state champion, 7 Final Fours, 17 state playoff appearances. Played high school baseball at Gainesville, college at University of Tampa. Married to Jennifer, daughters Sarah and Elise, and son JD. Deuce Roark, welcome to the show.
Glad to be here. It's early for me, fellas. Early.
Well, we appreciate you doing it. Next up, overall record 428 and 133, which is amazing. 3 state final appearances, 9 region championships, 3 times state coach of the year, 3 times the Times coach of the year, 7 times region coach of the year. Married to Tess, Children's Landon, playing baseball at Gadsden College right now. Addie, who's attending UNG. Hudson, who's a freshman at Cherokee Bluff. And Evie, 6th grade at Cherokee Bluff.
Yeah, I appreciate y'all having me.
Oh, yeah.
Excited
Welcome to the
be
show,
here.
Jeremy Kemp.
I think with those ages, you're just going to work a little while, aren't you?
I do. Golly,
hear
bills are crazy. 2 in college, too.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure. Well, both of you, we can't thank you enough for being on here. I can tell you why we're excited, why I think everybody's going to be excited to hear from both of you. Both of you are very successful at what you do. Both of you are 2 very different programs. So I think it'll be great hearing both perspectives on that. So we'll just start. Deuce, if you want to go first, tell us a little bit about your program, maybe what's expected this year, and thoughts on that.
Oh, well, it's kind of wide open on the expectations. We have a pretty young group, the 2 seniors. One of them's new to our program. So the good thing about it is that right now all the kids really enjoy being around each other. You know, harmony on a team is a hidden plus when you have harmony. And right now they're all working hard. They hit the struggle bus some days, and then they come back stronger the next day, which is good to see, a little resiliency. It's exciting at 34 years. So that's what I feel about this season. It's excited.
Great. Jeremy?
You know, we're excited about the season. You kind of don't know. It's so early in the year and trying to figure out who your leaders are. But we have a great group coming back. I think we're getting to the point where we have a lot of depth now. So the next man up, you know, can always play, you know, a factor in what's going on. I mean, because every year you're surprised by somebody that steps up. But right now it's a great culture down there. It's fun to be a part of.
That's right.
You think about that culture. I mean, I don't mean to interrupt you,
No,
but
you go.
he's created it.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's his stamp on the program, and that's pretty incredible. I like to watch it.
Well, how do you do that? You know, people ask all the time, how do you create a great culture? I have no idea. People say, oh, you create. I don't know what I did. I mean, other than
Be who you are.
It's just hold
Be who
kids
you are.
accountable. It's the kids. You know, every year it feels like the leaders are trying to step it up. You know, the seniors step it up one notch above the year before. So I mean, the kids is what's built what we've got going on. So it's a lot of fun to watch.
We talk about you mentioned it early on of my years of experience. Well, I know his family very well, and I know where that culture comes from.
Yeah.
That's just from his mom and dad. They are just solid people. You're not going to go to a Cherokee Bluff game if they're not there, right?
That's right.
You know, that's kind of cool to see a local fella go to a place, build it, and as I sit back and reflect a whole lot more, and I love seeing stuff like that because he's been there, and he's just blood, sweat, and tears into it. Pretty cool.
It's fun. I grew up watching Deuce. Jay, my second oldest brother, he was a senior when Deuce was a freshman. So when he left, we still traveled around to watch Deuce play. So I was the kid in the crowd getting spanked, not doing, getting into stuff, playing cut ball and all that stuff. And
his brother had a cool Corvette. It was cool as a freshman to ride around in.
Well, hard to follow that, but you're talking about leaders and whatnot. I'm gonna ask both of you, what makes a great team captain, team leader that you're looking for? What qualities do they have?
Not allowing certain things to go on, like where a coach doesn't have to step in. I think that's the biggest thing, because you have great teams where a coach, is demanding of his team and makes them do right. But when it really changes is when the kids step in. Like if someone doesn't run a ball out or, something like that. I don't have to say a whole lot. A lot of times, sometimes I do, and if I do, kind of redneck comes out in me. But it's not allowed in the program by the players. That's the biggest thing. That's the biggest step I've seen where things have changed for us.
Okay.
I think for me over the years it's just servants. It's easy for a senior to point the finger at a freshman to pick up the bats, do this and do that, and that's kind of a pecking order. But I think the greatest thing I have come to appreciate is the servants. If you have a servant's heart, you don't run into too many alphas anymore. Whereas the guys don't run the ball out, coming into the dugout, you fixing to get it. Mm-hmm. And that policing themselves is great. That works well. But I haven't had that many alphas anymore. Now we have great players, but not necessarily alpha in personality. So I think finding more of serving each other has become a focal point for me and the kids I coach. Because I know eventually, I believe, I don't necessarily know, but I know eventually you're going to be a father. You're going to be a husband. They're going to be somebody leading somewhere out in the community, and if they learn to serve, then everything they do is going to be better. So I think that's where we've gone to because of it maybe not having an alpha all the time. I think even when Tony was playing, there wasn't really an alpha. But those guys served each other, man. They'd go to eat dinner together. They would ride around, joke around. But every time they needed something, they were there for each other. And that kind of, I don't know, as you grow through your own growth as a coach, you begin to appreciate that part of it because the wins and losses come and go. And but the relationships and all that you build, and we were talking earlier, fighting for one of your kids, you do that. There's relationship building.
Sure.
Well, I appreciate you guys taking the time out this morning. Over 50 years experience coaching in this county, so it's a big deal for us to have you guys on. But who was a coach that made a big impact on you two? Does it get you to plant that seed with you two?
Wow.
That's hard to name just one. There's a long list. My football coaches were great. Don Golden, Jim Lofton, Don Brewer, Tony Wolf, Harold Daniels, baseball coaches in high school. And then I got to play for Robert Sapp, which is a great man who, I've never heard him say a cuss word. Like, and you coaching the game of baseball, it's hard when, you shortstop boots one and it's hard not to let one slip. But he's never said a cuss word in front of me. And Bobby Howard, he won 11 state championships in high school, but he moved down to Middle Georgia to coach me down there for 1 year. And then Perno was an assistant. David Perno was also a coach at the University of Georgia. So, and then my parents, I know he has the same thing where he has, a dad that really pushed him. So that's huge too. And I had 3 older brothers that beat the crap out of me and made me tough. And they pushed me, and they always – I was babied. I ain't going to try to lie to you. I was the baby of all of them, and they all took care of me. But, at the same time, so there's so many people that's made a impact on my life. So many great people who I've been around. I've never been around a bad one. So it's been a lot of fun.
That's very interesting you asked that question because I think of all the coaches have bits and pieces in your life. And I don't want to leave anybody out and say anything, but one of the best guys I ever played for is going to sound different was Abbott Hayes.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Abbott Hayes, you would be in the batter's box, and he would call your name, be a big time in the game, and he had false teeth, and he'd pop his false teeth out, and you're like, what? And your mind clears up instantly. You're not thinking about anything, saying, who is this guy? And he's just a guy that loved to help kids, always around the boys' club and doing things like that.
And definitely the loudest person in the park.
You would know he's in the ballpark. But different.
Yeah.
So, everybody has a little bit of difference in them, and I have to give the credit. My dad coached me up to 12 years old, and he just taught the idea of you give it everything you got every day. I mean, we wake up, we're supposed to do our best. Let's give it everything we got. And we play till it's over. It's never over till it's over, the old adage. I have to put probably the most competitive person is my mom. Yeah. My mom and my grandmother, God rest her soul, but you didn't play baseball and they'd get critiqued and they'd let you know you better play hard. So that's kind of I don't know. I think of them, the family core, when we did stuff, played or what. It didn't matter what you're playing, you needed to win, or find a way to win. So, and then all the coaches along your life. Sometimes you learn something from ones you don't want to do. You don't want to be that way. I had a really good coach in college, but he was very young, and his was instant win. Whew. Some tough days.
Yeah.
Tough days.
I've been amazed at over this last year getting to know your mom. She's always at your games, the high school games, and so I know she helps in the concession stand a lot.
Yeah.
So there for first little bit, I thought, oh, that's great. She's around, Deuce's program and just helping out. And then maybe third game, fourth game of the season, because I'd always go stand there and talk with her for a little bit. I realized she's watching the entire game, knows what's going on, and she is. Oh, so-and-so, is playing great today, or he's off a little bit today. It's not as usual. I'm amazed at that. I think it's great.
Silent assassin.
Yeah, for sure. All right, I've got a question that I know everybody's going to want to hear both your thoughts on. I know this just isn't a debate around this community, but probably around the country, to be honest, which is travel baseball. I know Deuce, and I mean this, you're probably the smartest one of all of us, because I don't think you've gotten too involved with that, which is great. And Jeremy, I know you are involved with it. So what is your advice? What is the true, for kids out there wondering, I see a lot of pressure on parents and kids right now with travel baseball, feeling like they've got to play and they're playing year round, and we just had an episode on, not to discourage anybody, but kids playing at the next level, it is just a very, very low percentage. But is your advice of, okay, if that is your dream and you want to do that, you've got to have travel baseball. Can you do one without the other? Do you need a good mix of both? Do each of you have an opinion on that?
It's the new way. I mean, you really have to be involved. If that's what you want to play, you want to play college baseball, you've got to, play travel baseball. My personal opinion is multiple playing sports, guys that play multiple sports, it's important. And, you got to do, if you decide to do both sports, you got to get your work in both sports, and I tell our guys, like, if they're playing basketball and baseball, you got to find time to get your shots up. If you're hitting in the afternoon and we're practicing in the afternoon, you got to go in the morning and get your shots up. And I tell them the same way baseball was. When basketball's going on, you got to find a way to get your swings in. And I think we do a pretty good job at Cherokee Bluff of making sure guys do that. But, the travel ball and the AAU, they're kind of killing, the chance to play two sports. I played 3 sports in high school. Man, I loved it. My favorite time was playing basketball. I think it was because my dad knew I was terrible at it. He just wanted me to hustle. The way I look right now is the way I played. Jason was there and could, I was in charge of rebounding and wasn't allowed to shoot and that kind of stuff. And so
know your role, right?
Yeah,
know your role.
I had an absolute blast, and the guys I got to play with was so much fun, and there was no pressure. So. And, you're young once, so being involved in those other sports is important. But, sometimes the travel stuff just kind of takes away. You can't let it take away your joy of being in high school. That's the main thing I'd say. But you got to do it. It's the new
Sure.
way. And Tony with his kids, he's just getting in it, man. It's going to be one game at Emerson every day, and it costs $17 to get in, and you drive all the way over there. It ruins your whole day, and you almost have to have a parent that's not working to be able during the summer to get them where they need to be. It's absolutely crazy.
Yeah, don't lose your love for baseball, Cash, because you're about to be tested. I can promise you.
That's right.
It's funny you said that about not working. I remember when I was putting together the first travel team and I had a tryout. It's going to be at 5 o'clock on a Tuesday, or 5:30 on Tuesday. I got there at 4 o'clock to get the field ready, and it was at Bluff. And it was in the summer. PG was there hosting the game, and it was, all the parents in the stands. I'm like, I literally called my wife and said, "You're never going to be able to work." She's like, "What do you mean?" I was like, "It's a game. They're playing, and this is the second of a doubleheader, so they've been here for 4 hours already." I was like, "I don't know how in the world these parents do it." So, yeah, you're right. I get it. So
the scheduling is by far the worst part of it. It's a lot of baseball over the course of the weekend. As they get older, it's just more and more. It's pretty terrible. I agree with you. I think now it's a necessity. I think with social media and with the websites and really what Perfect Game PBR does. Now, from the way I see it, these recruiters can truly just sit at their desk and recruit.
And now there's a lot of great things that happen too.
Oh, absolutely.
Your all your numbers are put out there. Your exit velo. Your velocity off the mound. There's a lot of great things it does. It's just a lot. That's a lot. You better love it.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
I think that's y'all. I'm kind of on the other side of the fence, to be quite honest with you. I think kids need to be kids. In college, professional sports, how many teams go and play 4 games in 2 days, or 3 games in 1 day? I think there's you have to. I don't think you have a choice. I call it the fast moving stream. You either get in and go, or you stay on the riverbank and watch everybody go by. That is, and it doesn't matter if it's volleyball. It doesn't matter if it's now 7-on-7 football. Doesn't matter, because that is the recruiting area. That's where recruiting goes on. You get your PG profile, you get your whatever profile. We sat with some of the coaches at the University of Georgia last year, and they're data-driven. It is the exit velo. It is how fast you throw it when it's 2 degrees out. They know everything, and he's a data-driven guy. So what they call that, Moneyball.
Yeah, Moneyball.
But I think some of the negative effects, and we've spoken about that. I think kids who love it are going to do it. That's what they do. But I worked with somebody years ago who this kid grew up playing travel ball, and she said, "I don't understand it. They all just want to get back and get in the pool." They're kids, that's what they just want to hang out with each other. So I think you talk about people at the game at 10 a.m. in the morning or 4 in the afternoon. You better like the people you hang out with.
Yeah, I know.
Because that is going to be who you hang out with. And the money's incredible. The money, I would love to see some financial sheets from some of the huge programs, and they're doing well. And what happens is, as an AD, is I'm going to pay an assistant coach this little stipend to come coach with me, or you can go coach with them and make 3 times as much. You lose the quality guys sometimes. It's financial. I don't blame them. But there's got to be something to where, and the kid reaches 16 and he's done this since he was 8. It's a job now, and it's not fun. It's now become an 8 to 5. And where's the passion to compete? Or I think high school is a little different too. When you're coaching high school is more culturally based around, I got to behave. I got to have academics. I got to get along with these guys because I'm going to see them every single day. And, there's something to be said for high school baseball still to have that nucleus of family. Because, travel ball team, you could be on 3 different travel ball teams in 3 different years.
Yeah.
And high school, you're locked in with your people. And I love that. I love that because we have to figure it out together.
Right.
And I think there's still a unique part for high school baseball to be where you can test a guy. I hope this is not inappropriate for the show, but Clint Hurdle, the major league coach, he talks about 2 things: his guts and nuts.
Mm-hmm.
You can't measure that on a profile.
Nope.
But you go talk to a high school coach will know. He knows his players better than anybody. And he knows what makes them tick, what doesn't make them tick, and what buttons to push at the right time. And so a college coach talking to him is going to know in depth, can that kid handle being in the situation he gets put in the next year in college? Because it's different.
Sure.
That's when it's a job. That's when it's I don't know. I know it has to be because that's where the kids have the chance to jump to the next level. But we got to keep it in perspective a lot of times.
All right. Well, I'm going to change.
That's a loaded question.
It was.
Both your responses. So.
Well, I'm starting with you, Coach.
I can't count on it being good, but go ahead.
Favorite player to coach of all time? I know I'm number one.
Number one. We would just get you can't be counted.
I can't be counted, but favorite player to coach. It doesn't have to be the best, right? It's got to be the favorite.
That's not fair.
I wouldn't want to answer.
Name some that you've enjoyed coaching over the years, and I'm gonna ask Coach Kemp the same thing.
John Simpson.
Okay.
Because I hope he's listening, and I hope he'll hear this. John hardly ever played. When I was coaching at Gainesville, and I was kind of the players coach guy. I was the assistant coach, so I didn't have to make all the big decisions. I could just coach baseball and do things with the kids. But John didn't get to play much and struggled mightily with not playing much. But we would do things like after practice, post the baseball part about the extra stuff, and he'd always try to be first. He would always try to set a standard. And you see that today in what he does. And he's just one that comes to mind because he has fought through the adversity that sports can teach you.
Yeah.
And let it build him. It didn't let it destroy him. It let it build him. And now today, he affects so many kids' lives in amazing ways. And I think coaching kids like that are where you go, doggone it, that's why I'm doing this. Sitting here across from you, Tony, I mean, goodness gracious, man, you spent the night in my house a couple of times. And it's the beauty of the relationship. So I feel like I love all of them, even the ones that about made my beard a whole lot more gray and a few more pounds from stress, but that love them to death, and all of them. I always have fond memories of all of them. I go way back to Michael Westbrook. My first year coaching, I was coaching him, and he could probably tell you some stories that, thank God, it wasn't social media and picture phones and all that kind of stuff when I was coaching, because I was a little aggressive. And, I still love him. I saw him at the Mexican restaurant the other night, and just the greetings are great. And even today, to the young guys, we get to coach his son. And we work out at 6 o'clock in the morning, a couple mornings, and nobody directed it. Nobody did it. Afterwards, he had circled him up for the Lord's Prayer to finish the morning off. Humble. You talking about being humbled? Now that right there will just kind of melt you a little bit and go, we got it.
Yeah.
We're crossing that bridge in the right direction. So as far as a favorite, I got a lot of favorites. Sure, what I do, because they're all family. And I always tell them, man, you're never only a phone call away. That's all you got to have.
You're right, and I will say I do appreciate back as a kid in 2002 when coming down. I remember meeting you. You did build a relationship, and I do appreciate you. I don't get an opportunity to say it very often.
What better format?
Exactly. When you say that, man, you go back to the memories. I forgot about spending the night at your house a couple of times.
That's right.
And I do appreciate everything you do.
Or let me use your truck to drag the field.
Oh.
That was classic.
I scared him the first time he drove my truck. I had the subwoofers, and they hit. He almost went through the windshield.
Yeah, they about blew me through the
You
windshield.
left the volume up on purpose.
Well, I listened to it loud, and he's like, "Hey, can I borrow? Yeah, go ahead." And he said he almost went through the windshield. But no, I do appreciate it, and you did make a big impact on my life, so I do want to share that with you.
Well, thank you.
I told Deuce, I don't even know if now you remember me asking this question, but Lewis's first year coming to Lakeview, and so I guess it would have been your last year at Gainesville was 99, so would have been 99. And I believe I was a sophomore at the time and had played baseball growing up most of my life, and had decided that year I was going to run track. And track really was my most natural, probably, talent. And so I'd made the decision. I had not really met Deuce. I'd seen him coaching, all that. He was at the school. I was in the gym one day, and he came up to me and said, "Andy, I understand you're running track now." And I said, "Yes, sir, I think I'm going to go do that." And he said, "Well, we're going to win a state championship. Are you sure that's what you want to do?" And, "Yes, sir, I better do this." And lo and behold, as fate had it, and then I tore my leg in football, and so was pretty much done with track. And guess what happened? 2 in my high school that I missed out on, and I'll never forget it. But anyways, when Lewis came to Lakeview, I was meeting with Deuce, and I said, "Deuce, I've never forgot this. You came up to me in the gym. Do you remember that?" And he said, "Not really, but that's a long time ago." And I said, "No, I get it." But anyways, yeah, you were great, and everybody loved watching you coach. So. How about you?
Yeah, Coach Kemp.
My favorite is the kids that hit the doubles and the gaps. Those are my
Whoa. They go right
the
up
base
the
line.
line.
on the statue.
But I mean, I'm kind of like he is on that. It's easy to love coaching the guys that everything goes right for them the whole time. And, the stud, they're fun to coach. They all are. But I always try to focus on some of the other guys. Like Robert Hughes at Gainesville, he had a tough time. He had like mono to start the season, and then he hurt his hand. And I think most of the year he was playing center field for us and getting DH for. And there was never a time that he wasn't a great leader. Like when things aren't going right for somebody, you see their true character. And, at Cherokee Bluff, there was a kid named Austin Wallace, and he just never could get in the lineup really consistently, but he's just such a great guy. I feel like I'm a better person for coaching those guys and how they handled. And the crazy thing is they weren't playing all the time, but everybody listened to them. Like they're true leaders. Like they're going to be successful. Whatever they do, they're gonna be successful, because when you have the respect of your teammates and you're not that big profile guy, So just. Those guys like that still put the team way above themselves, always. Those I love those guys, and I've coached so many of them. I know name 2, but there's so many great guys, and even some of the superstars still put the team above themselves, and that's what I love. I think Kirby says mission team me. That's kind of what we roll with, and I love the kids that really follow that. So
I like it.
Nice. Well, if you guys could change one rule in baseball, what would it be? I know there's a lot of.
That is a great question.
Yeah.
I hadn't put much thought in that ever. 'Cause I don't know the rules anyway.
in baseball. Well, I would probably change. I don't know about a rule, but what something's called the foul line would be called the fair line. 'Cause it's the line, and it's foul. It's a line. It's fair.
Yeah.
It's a foul line. It's fair. Does that make sense? I mean,
Yeah,
that should be called
It's pretty
fair line.
interesting, yeah.
But rules. I don't. There's some crazy rules. Really crazy stuff that's happened, and it seems like it.
Well, how do you feel about the what is it, catcher's delay or whatnot? If you touch the baseball with any other part of either your glove or your hand, it's a ball called catcher's ball.
Yeah.
Did you know that?
I think it's a joke.
No, it's legit.
But I mean, no, I think the rule's a joke.
Yeah,
But
Why get messed up in that?
yeah.
One thing happened to us. Catcher was blocking one, and the ball went in his chest protector. Well, he reached in and grabbed it real quick. And everybody was awarded a base, and it's a dead ball, automatic dead ball if it gets stuck, lodged in his chest protector. So I mean, there's some crazy.
A lot of times those rules are not made for the guys who are trying to do it right. It's for those who are trying to skirt the system.
Yeah.
I wish we had a little bit more. The hybrid on the pitching rubber, and every umpire gets their own interpretation of that. So then a kid who's been practicing a certain way all spring, where you've interpreted the rule to be this way, now you go out to a game and then make them change. And we talk about making a 15, 16-year-old kid uncomfortable, make them change their pitching motion.
Yeah.
Those things are, and you go and watch the major leagues, and you got all the guys doing all kinds of different stuff, and that's what they see. So that's what they want to emulate, and then you come back down to high school, and it's, nope, can't do that.
Yeah, and the worst is when you go through the whole season and they do it that way, and then in the playoffs, they make you change. In the playoffs they're gonna make it. So that makes it tough. So
that one, and I may be a little old school on here, but the sliding into second base and not being able to, if a second baseman are short, and I played shortstop, if you can't make them a little nervous on the double play, then what good are you?
Yeah.
You need to make them a little. They have to be a little agile around there. But now, boy, if you don't just slide down and lay on the ground, then we're going to call it automatic double play. And think, goodness gracious, can we play a little baseball, fellas?
Well, again, I want to thank both of you for being on here. It truly is. I mean, both of you just, you talked about it, Deuce, just seeing somebody in the community doing this that everybody knows, that is what the community loves. And both of you have those names that just everyone knows, whether they've been part of your program or another program. They know the names, they know the success, the character both of you bring to the field, and that is, how you set the culture is, your culture is your culture, whether you realize you're doing it or not, whether you do it in a good way, bad way. It's because of what you do as leaders and coaches that set that culture. And both of you are really well known for having a great culture. So I know this community is definitely appreciative. You've both put a lot of time, I'm sure blood, sweat, and tears, as they say, into it. And the community truly appreciates it. Again, that's why we want to do this podcast, to hear from people like you. And so we can't thank you enough. I mean, talking about the culture, Cherokee Bluff and North Hall. I mean, obviously that's a great rivalry now, and it is amazing how just over the years it changes, because that's when, well, Cherokee Bluff wasn't even around when I was in high school, because it was a while back. But just seeing the different schools that are, go through the years as they always will. And I remember we went to the Cherokee Bluff North Hall baseball game last year out at North Hall, and the atmosphere was just unbelievable. And it's because of what y'all brought to those programs, and two great programs. And so it's great. So to both of you, thank you for what you do. It doesn't go unrecognized, and can't thank you enough for being on this show.
Yeah, thank you for having me, and blessing to get to be here with Deuce, man. I grew up watching him play. He was kind of one of my heroes growing up, so I was always scared, scared half to death of him when I used to watch him coach too, when he was in his younger days, man.
Me too.
He got after it, but it's we drove around watching him play. Actually watched him pitch. Started the first game, threw a complete game, and then started the second game.
There was no pitching rules back in those
days.
Doubleheader.
Yeah, he threw like 250 pitches that day.
Just getting loose. Loose.
So it was a lot of fun, and I appreciate y'all letting me hang out with him. It was good catching up with him.
This is thank you, fellas. This is what it's all about. Hearing from people who invest in kids. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you all. It's fun watching y'all, by the way. It's fun watching y'all. You do remind me of an early him, by the way. You do remind me of a younger him.
That's a curse.
Thank you.
That's a
Somebody the
curse.
other day said, Jeremy, I've watched you turn from a dad to a granddad. Saying
No.
I'm getting soft. I was like, great, gosh,
I see
thanks,
you
man.
you can still get fired up. I remember Coach Roark yelling at me from left field one time when I didn't do something right, and his brother, the other coach, told me to do what I did, and he was pretty fired up. So you can still get in it. So you do remind me of a younger him. It's fun watching both of y'all, playing for you and then watching you coach the couple times I've been able to. It's pretty cool. They're very similar as well. So it's pretty awesome watching.
Thank you for saying that.
Yeah, and I know y'all have made jokes about it a couple times on here about me reclassifying in
North
'95.
Hall reclassed you.
Well, Kemp, he was a very popular athlete up there, and he was told not to hang out with me. And, but every day he would come out there and sit with me in the breezeway. No matter what the coaches or teachers were saying, it's like, you shouldn't be hanging around with Loggins. He's bad.
That dazed and confused scene where they said, I've been watching who you're hanging out with. I swear, one of my assistant football coaches had that conversation with me about Loggins.
And I wouldn't get in trouble. I don't know.
I've never seen him do anything wrong. He never got in trouble.
Yeah.
That's what was bad.
I was labeled, but yeah, I appreciate him coming out there and sitting beside me and becoming a friend for over 30 years. So he's got good character. There's no smoke around his program. He just keeps it real, and he's a winner. So
I think that's thank you for saying something like that, because it takes nothing to be kind.
that's right.
And we're encouraging kids to Lakeview have unique, and I don't want to go longer than we need to, but we have a unique position to where there's a pre-K, like a 4-year-old, and then there's his son. And by golly, you better take it important that the way you walk, the way you talk, the way you wear your hair, that little kid's watching.
Yep.
And if you can take 2 minutes to just slap a high five as you go by, make a day.
Yeah.
And so something like last.
Mm-hmm.
You remember that from 95. I don't remember 95. That was a long time ago. But that means the world to people.
Yep.
And so we need to get a lot more of that going.
Agreed.
Great.
Yeah.
Well, thank you both. I know everybody's going to enjoy this.
Yep.
Oh, good. I
Good
hope
luck,
so.
y'all.
Thank you.
If you like this episode, please like, subscribe, and follow us on Instagram, Spotify, and YouTube, In the Stands Podcast.